And welcome back once again. It's a nice three-parter for today. So, the Republicans were winning legal victory after legal victory in Congress. So, all of these state governments that had already been established under Andrew Johnson's plan were kind of up for grabs. The Republicans didn't trust these new governments because they were mostly made up of former Confederate officials, which Lincoln didn't want, and the Republicans that controlled Congress definitely did not want that. So they, even though President Johnson campaigned vigorously to try to get his plan instated, the Republicans overturned it at every stretch. So therefore, they basically denied these new state governments. And so they essentially had to reapply to be a state, with the exception of Tennessee. Tennessee got to stay because Tennessee went ahead and ratified the new 14th Amendment. And these new states had to ratify that 14th Amendment if they wanted to become states at all. So therefore, radical Reconstruction had truly begun in earnest. And because a lot of the southern states were resistant to this, the Congress essentially put the military in control of these different southern states. They divided it up into military districts. So you see this first district, which is just pretty much the state of Virginia, was controlled by General John Schofield. You've got the second district, North and South Carolina, controlled by General Daniel Sickles. You have the third district controlled by General John Pope, fourth district by General Edward Ord, and the fifth district by General Philip Sheridan. So essentially, these states did not have any legal authority. They were controlled by the U.S. military, and they were essentially forced to adhere to laws that were passed without their consent. So now some people view this as a positive. It's like, okay, these states are being forced to realign to what is the new American norm. But some people oppose this as essentially you're establishing a military dictatorship. You are taking these people who are supposed to be guaranteed American citizens and you're forcing them down a path that they have not necessarily agreed to. So there's definitely critics of this plan, and some people see this plan as being too harsh. President Lincoln probably would not have approved this plan of dividing it up into military districts, but the radical Republicans wanted this. They wanted to make sure that the South did not try to go back to a pre-Civil War era style South. So, and President Johnson was definitely at odds with this new Reconstruction era, and he was trying to fight it at every step of the way. So much so that he got impeached. He was the first sitting president to be impeached, which is why it's always such a big deal whenever impeachment comes up in American history. Really, only three presidents have actually fully been impeached and gone to trial. The fourth president was going to be impeached, but he resigned before that process happened. And that was President Richard Nixon. I recommend looking up his presidency, full of controversy, very interesting stuff. But President Andrew Johnson, he was opposed to radical Reconstruction, and essentially all of this conflict between him and the government then impeached him. And so therefore, he was not removed from office, but the writing was on the wall. When the next presidential election came up, he was voted out. He was not nominated for the presidential seat by the Republicans, and instead, a new president takes center stage.